Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name's Ross, and as always told out of Voice of Radio, so today I am here to share with you a rather gigantic update about the Pokemon 2022 World Championships. Although I'm going to tell you right off the bat before we get going, this has raised way more questions than it's actually answered, but I don't care. I am very, very, very excited. Of course, we know at this stage that the World Championships is happening in London, and it is happening from Thursday, August the 18th to Sunday, August the 21st. And this splash page came from the Pokemon Presents last week, and oh my goodness, it makes me excited. Now, actually, there is a part of Wednesday. Wednesday is the actual kind of start of Worlds. It's day 0. Wednesday is where the competitors go, I believe at least, where the competitors go and register and pick up their bags ready to compete on Thursday. It's where all the staff are going to be there getting ready. I am, seriously, when I say this, I cannot express to you in words eloquently how excited I am. It's my first Worlds in a decade. It's the Pokemon World Championships. It's my first Worlds. I mean, when I went to Worlds in 2012 in Hawaii, I would just started the podcast. I'm talking like a couple of months in. And it was all weirdly new. And now, ladies and gentlemen, I am, now I'm a full-time Pokemon YouTuber, which is extremely weird. Oh yeah, and I'm casting on the TCG team. It's all very strange. I'm extremely excited. And yeah, casting, that's kind of awesome. But the lovely Joe over at Cerebi.net went and noticed something on the World's website a couple of days ago. It says this: the 2022 Pokemon World Championships. In 2022, London, England plays host to what is expected to be the largest World Championships ever. Over 4 days, from August the 18th to the 21st, the top qualifying Pokemon Sword and Pokemon Shield, Pokemon TCG, Pokemon Go, Pokemon Unite, and Pokken Tournament DX competitors will vie to earn the title of champion. Okay, nothing new, we knew all of that. Hang on a second. Fans will get to peek at the first cards for the upcoming Pokemon TCG, Pokemon Scarlet, and Pokemon Violet series. Oh, that's huge. Or is it? You see, here's the thing. We already knew this. At least anyone that is paying the obsessive amount of attention that I am already knew this. This isn't new information. Because you see, 3 years ago, in 2019... that was the last time we actually had a World Championships that ran. We were heading into the release of Sword and Shield, and during the opening ceremony of the World Championships in 2019, they showed us bits of Zacian and Zamazenta. Now, they actually showed us stylized close-ups. They didn't actually show us the whole thing, but they showed us bits to show us that Pokemon V were coming. And they didn't show us the whole card, and they showed us one shot of Zamazenta's V's ability, where if you really upped the contrast, you could just make out Pokemon V Max, which set us all into a frenzy of what that was. And actually, at the end of the presentation, they actually showed us the outline of a card with 330 HP that we now know was Stonejourner V Max, because that was the only VMAX in the Sword and Shield expansion, which had 330 HP. I'm fairly sure I'm right about that. So that's kind of awesome. That was an interesting thing. And we could then go back 3 more years to 2016, where, of course, we were heading into the release of Sun and Moon. And in the opening ceremony of the Pokemon World Championships, they showed us heavily redacted versions of Lunala GX and Solgaleo GX. And I mean heavily redacted versions. They showed us like the attacks and abilities, but the attack cost were missing, and a whole bunch of other information. When I say heavily redacted, I mean very heavily redacted. But they were there. I mean, at the time, we didn't even know that Solgaleo and Lunala were Stage 2 Pokemon. Because, of course, they were the box legendaries. So why would we think they were Stage 2s? They're never Stage 2s. They're always basics. This was the first time they'd been Stage 2s. And this was at that point where it was still very much being hidden from us. It was very interesting. But the point I'm making is that 3 years ago they showed us kind of the first cards from Sword and Shield, and 6 years ago kind of they showed us the first cards from Sun and Moon. The thing is, there are a couple of differences between what is being told here and what was shown 3 years ago and 6 years ago. Firstly, they didn't announce it in 2019 or 2016. They just showed it off during the opening ceremony. But that's fine. Maybe they're just a bit more organised this time. That makes sense. Here's the thing, though. They are telling us we are going to show you the first cards. Well, that's different. Because 6 years ago, they didn't show us the first cards. They showed us heavily redacted versions of the first cards. That ain't the same. And 3 years ago, they didn't show us the first cards. They showed us close-ups of bits of the first cards. Again, that ain't the same. Here, it seems to suggest very strongly that they are going to be actually showing us real cards. But then that just leads into a whole bunch of questions. Is this in addition to the inevitable reveal during the opening ceremony, or is that what they're telling us? I.e., are they going to show us whatever terrestrial Pokemon end up being in the TCG in the opening ceremony, i.e., the big reveal is in the opening ceremony, but it's heavily redacted and they don't show us everything, which incidentally is exactly what we're expecting to see. And then they show us, say, the first partner Pokemon cards in a little art gallery somewhere on site. That is absolutely possible. Or are they going to show us these cards nice and clearly during the opening ceremony, but then also have these cards somewhere that you can go and look at them? Maybe banners showing them large, or a little art gallery somewhere on site that you can go and see these. The answer is we don't know. We know that we're going to see Scarlet and Violet cards, and there are a bunch of options. This could be teases during the opening ceremony, though I think the announcement kind of rules that out. Could it just be shown during the opening ceremony? Are they going to show the same thing during the opening ceremony, but then also in the venue? Or are they going to show us the big reveal during the opening ceremony, i.e. terrestrial Pokemon? That's kind of what the big reveal has to be. Because remember, they showed us Pokemon V and hinted at VMAX in 2019, and that's Dynamax, which was the big thing in Sun and Moon. But then also show us something else in the venue. And I'm not saying it has to be, but at this stage it is overwhelmingly likely to be cards of the first partner Pokemon. Remember, they always do really early promos of this. So, for instance, we had the Gala collection, which came out, that was like the first thing that came out for Sword and Shield, and they had little promos of Sobble, Grookey, and Scorbunny, and they came out in November 2019, but the Sword and Shield base set didn't come out till February 2020. Incidentally, the Scarlet and Violet base set will be coming out in February 2020. That's not official, but that is all but guaranteed at this stage. And that's the other candidate. We're gonna see terrestrial Pokemon, but that could just be redacted hints in the opening ceremony, which would be exactly in line with what they did 3 years ago and 6 years ago. If they're going to show us any other cards, I think and again, I don't know, this is purely a prediction based on what they've done in the past, but the leading candidates have to be the Gala Collection equivalent for Scarlet and Violet, i.e. cards of Sprigatito, Fuecoco, and Quaxley, which are just going to be kind of like generic evolving basics, which have very vanilla attacks and don't actually show us anything of any relevance, which will be sad, but I think that could be it. Big reveal during the opening ceremony, but then showing off the first partner Pokemon elsewhere at Worlds. I don't know, but that is, I think it's fair to say, a very sensible prediction. It's also worth pointing out that one of the things we saw at, in the website was what I've just shown you. Fans will get a peek. But if you actually click the back arrow, the previous announcement is a gallery featuring works from the recent Pokemon TCG illustration contest will be open for visitors. There's going to be a little art gallery. Does anybody think, just maybe, they might actually do that thing where they have the art gallery, and oh look, there's some Scarlet and Violet cards there as well. I cannot tell you for certain, obviously, but that would make an awful lot of sense. But there is one other really cool piece of news, because I've been trawling on the Excel website. That is the venue where the Pokemon World Championships is being held. As a fun little side note, it is worth noting that the Excel has been host to both of the England-held European International Championships. There's been 2 in England and 2 in Germany. The 2 in England have been held at the Excel in London. Now, there is actually Jurassic World the exhibition, which starts 3 days after the Pokemon World Championships finishes, and I don't have a good excuse to stay around that long, and this makes me extremely sad. But there is a page about the Pokemon World Championships, so you click and it's got a bunch of information. But it also tells us there's going to be a Pokemon World Square, where you can meet Pikachu and Eevee, get your face painted like Charmander, and make your own Pokemon card, amongst other things. Honestly here, I don't think it's going to be an actual kind of tournament legal Pokemon card. I imagine it's going to be one that you design on a piece of paper. I don't think you're actually going to make proper, official looking Pokemon cards, though I would love to be wrong. And you can visit a play lab to learn how to play the Pokemon TCG and take home your very own deck. There's also a bunch of other information there. That's not what we're worried about. This is a TCG video. We're focused on the TCG. So first of all, a make your own card station sounds amazing. Just bear in mind it could well be that you're drawing it on a piece of paper like you could have done at home. I don't know is the honest answer. I can't remember these being done at other events, so just be a little bit careful before you go over the top excited here. But there's also something coming in terms of, as a learn to play event where you can take home your very own deck. Now, I know that a lot of you watching are people that have been playing the Pokemon TCG for a while, but I know some of you watching aren't. Some of you are here for the news and aren't big players. So a free half deck, it's probably a half deck, to take home and have a play with sounds like fun. But actually, it's so much more than that, ladies and gentlemen. Because actually, there are, and they're very, weird, but there are exactly 3 cards that exist that are learn to play decks, and they have these 3 cards in that are non-holo Pokemon V. They exist. There exists 3 non-holo Pokemon V in English. And they have Umbreon, Greninja, or Lucario. I think it's 1 per deck. And those decks have non-holo Pokemon V, and I believe this is the only place in English where you can get them. Now, the picture on screen is taken from Gen Con. Gen Con just happened, like this weekend just gone. Does anyone think these aren't going to be the learn-to-play decks that are given out at Worlds? I can't tell you that they are going to be. I can't tell you one way or t'other, but certainly seems like it, doesn't it? And what that means is that you can go right now, well, that's a lie, in like a week. You can go to Worlds and pick them up. And that does, of course, raise the question. If I'm casting Worlds and, I've been hired, and this is Pokemon's own words on Twitter, as an expert, can I then step off the casting desk and walk outside and pretend I don't know how to play so I can learn how to play and get one of these decks? Is that too cheeky? Also, as a side note, that's obviously a joke. No, I am not going to go to World Square and pretend I don't know how to play to try and get one of these decks, obviously. But I am telling you that if you're going to Worlds, and remember, this is in World Square, outside Worlds. This isn't inside the World Championships. To get into Worlds, you need a ticket. It is a ticketed event. You can get a ticket as a spectator, as a player, or any kind of other role, but you need a ticket to get in. However, you do not need a ticket to go to World Square. And that's where this is being held. World Square is outside. Yeah. It also does make me ask the question, how big is Worlds going to be this year? Because the EUIC has taken a couple of halls at the XL, but there's been a bunch of other stuff going on. But as it stands at the moment, Worlds, it's going to be huge. There's this big outside square. If you go to the XL website, there's nothing else listed for that date, although anything else is probably quite a lot smaller. And to be fair, Jurassic World, the exhibition, starting 3 days after Worlds, because it's probably going to take 3 days to take Worlds apart and set up Jurassic World. I'm excited, ladies and gentlemen. But yeah, first of all, there's going to be some kind of Scarlet and Violet reveal. We don't have full information. I've given you my best thoughts. But there's going to be really cool stuff happening outside in World Square, outside the World Championships, in the bit where you don't need a ticket. So if you're in and around London, whether you've got an opportunity to go to Worlds itself or not, pop along, would ya? Alright, ladies and gentlemen, that's the news. I'm excited. You should be too. And now it's over to you guys. Tell me what you think about all of this. Give me your prediction for Scarlet and Violet in the TCG. Go nuts in the comment section, but be nice. And then make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter at TheWasi. That's where we talk about Pokemon card games, and all kinds of fun things. And please do consider checking out patreon.com/PTCGradio. There's a Patreon, Discord where you can join, and that's fun, we chat. There's pretty much weekly bonus pods where I answer all of your questions. This week I'm telling the full story of how I got from, hey, I want to start a podcast to, yay, I'm casting Worlds. I might call it Hey to Yay. That could be fun. But that's going to be over on the Patreon, so do check that out. That's going to be fun. And I give shout-outs to lovely people like the lovely Eric Ridgway, who is a very lovely person, who is one of our supporters. So thank you for the support, Eric, and thank you for being a very lovely person. But by far the most important thing, as always, look after yourselves till next time, would ya? Thank you very much for watching. My name's Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.